that's really one of the things that sets that record apart, because it's such an extraordinary piece of instrumental work that it really makes you sit up and take notice and gets you ready. It's almost like saying, okay, sit back, you're in for a ride, you know?
Kind of a cool little riff.
I think this time around is when everybody else comes in.
Some of them here. 2, 3, 4. No? 2, 3, that's right. Here they come. 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, who's going for it?
This whole album is so cinematic to me. It's like a movie, sitting through a movie.
And they all just went to a studio and pooped it out.
I know. They knocked it out in 2 weeks or something like that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a lifetime achievement in 2 weeks.
When you compare the artistic integrity and quality, this is literally like modern classical music. The compositional skills, the lyrics, everything about it, the production, the musicianship.
Elton has composed and recorded most of his albums in France, in a partially derelict chateau in the small village of Ereville, some 50 kilometers outside Paris. And it's indeed odd to find tomorrow's music being made in yesterday's crumbling splendor. Here, in very Spartan conditions, he and the group lead a strange monastic existence for the best part of a month, working by night and sleeping by day.
We've done 3 albums here now. Well, 4, because this is like a double album. It's got such good atmosphere here, and it's great to work here, you know, it's so easy and laid back. He'll get up early or whatever, and he has words. If Bernie's not here, he'll have lyrics. And he'll sit down at the piano and play about, and within half an hour, he's written a song, you know. There's never a note written down. He keeps it in his head.
When we did Tonky Chateau, Bernie was here writing the lyrics, bringing them downstairs. Elton was sitting at the piano writing them. And then half an hour later, we'd sit down and learn them, the band, you know. And that's the way it goes.
Literally as quickly as that?
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. It was just like a factory. The lyrics were coming down, Elton was sitting down and writing a song. And we'd be sitting having breakfast, and we'd just join in. And within about an hour and a half, We've got the basis of the song.
And at that stage, you're busking it.
Oh, sure, yeah, we just learn the song.
Was to say to somebody, I know somebody who writes great songs and he can write 10 in half an hour, you'd think, come on, you know, they can't be that great. But he does that.
Obviously, Goodby Yellow Brick Road is Elton just creating such original music, and Bernie's writing these incredibly cinematic lyrics, and everything about what was happening for Elton. His band, Gus Dudgeon, being the perfect producer, understood the talents of all of those four guys and knew exactly how to guide them, to edit where needed, but ultimately to empower them to express all of their gifts and their talents, which are vast.
Goodbye, Norma Jean. No, I never knew you at all. You had the grace to hold yourself while those around you crawled. They crawled out of the woodwork and they whispered into your brain. They set you on the treadmill and they made you change your name. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never knowing who to cling to when the rain set in. And I would have liked to know you, but I was just a kid. Your candle burned out long before your legend ever did. Price you paid. Even when you died, oh, the press still hounded you. All the papers had to say was that Marilyn was found in the news. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never knowing to cling to when the rain set in. And I would have liked to know you, but I was just a kid. Your candle burned out long before your legend ever did. Something more than sexual, more than just our Marilyn Monroe. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never knowing who to cling to when the rain set in. And I would have liked to know you, but I was just a kid. Candle burned out long before the legend ever did. Your candle burned out long before the legend ever did.
Dee Nigel and Davey were the ones that arranged and created all of these incredibly beautiful background vocal arrangements. Nigel and Dee, Elton and Davey would cut the basic tracks in the studio. Once they got the basic track down, he'd take off, and then he would leave them to do these beautiful, incredible, inventive, and highly original background vocal parts.
Goodbye, Norma Jean. Though I never knew you at all, you had the grace to hold yourself while those around you crawled. Goodbye, Norma Jean, from a young man in the 22nd row who sees you as something more than sexual, more than just our Marilyn Monroe. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind.
Cool.
Never knowing who to cling to when the rain set in. And I would have liked to know you, but I was just a kid. Your candle burned out long before your legend ever did. Your candle burned out long before your legend ever did.
Incredible. It's not what you think. That right there is a prime example of those kind of drum fills I'm talking about, where Nigel would just throw them into the middle of some place where they didn't necessarily, it wouldn't be the predictable place to play a fill. So awesome, so perfect. He goes to the ride right there. So cool. I have a good friend, Juan Van Dunk. Juan and I first met and started playing music together. He was playing bass in my band. One of our touchstones as friends was we talked about when we were kids, and we used to hear Bennie and the Jets on the radio. And he said that he was so mesmerized by that track. And I said I was too. It was like it was transporting me into this totally different place with the audience sounds, and just the vibe of the track is so interesting and so unique. Try and name another track that sounds like Bennie and the Jets. You won't find one. It's so Elton. It's so uniquely Elton, his artistry and his creativity and the bands. But one of the things that Juan said to me was, as a little kid, he'd hear this song and it would make him cry. That's what music used to do to me when I was a kid too. Certain music was just so beautiful but magical, and when Juan said that to me, it just, I can't even explain to you what that meant to me. It was kind of our moment that we really bonded. It's like, yeah, we understand. For musicians and artists, music is different. Not to say that non-musicians cannot enjoy it in the same way, but there's just something, I think there's something about music and the way it impacts musicians that basically forces them to become musicians. It's like they can't help it. They're so just compelled to do it and drawn to it. And anyway, I wanted to share that little moment about Bennie and the Jets. On one particular birthday party I had, this is when I was starting to basically collect his back catalog. For my birthday, I said, I want Elton John's albums. And the next one I wanted was Goodby Yellow Brick Road, because I had heard it was this 2-record set. And I really didn't know anything about what a legendary album it already was at the time. I just knew that it was a 2-record set and it had this really cool album
Amazing cover.
Yeah. And so I got this record, and all my friends are at my house for this birthday party. As soon as I opened up the gift, that's all I wanted to focus on. I went down to my room, put it on my little turntable, started playing it, and all of my friends through the whole birthday party were saying, come on, John, let's go do something. They wanted to go outside and play.
What a host.
Yeah. All I wanted to do was play that album. That's my clearest memory of this. And there were 2 songs that just, I can't even explain what they did to me, but Bennie and the Jets had this weird, mesmerizing, fantastical vibe to it that just sucked me in, and I just could not get enough of it. But then there was this song, Goodby Yellow Brick Road, which is obviously his, like, the pinnacle of his compositional career, and Bernie Taupin's lyrical.
You think this song is their ace?
Yeah, there's 3 that sit in that top, and they compete for that top spot, and this is probably the very top for me.
I won't disagree with you.
Yeah.
When are you gonna come down? When are you going to land? I should have stayed on the phone. I should have listened to my own mind. You know you can't hold me forever.
One thing that made this song really jump out to me just recently is when I heard a mix of this with pretty much everything stripped away except for the vocals and the piano.
Yep.
And just, it's mind-blowing.
The composition is incredible. It's the chord changes. Literally, this song is constantly changing chords. The whole song, almost every measure is a different chord. And the band, my gosh. I don't know, you and I have talked about drummers before, but Nigel Olsson, part of the vibe of this song is the way that he's just playing so lazily, and just like every hit is like at the last possible second. He lays back so far, and it gives this song this really...
It's kind of hypnotic.
It is, yeah.
I feel the same way about the drumming in I've Seen That Movie Too.
Exactly, yes.
It's, if you just focus on the drumming in that song, it's so off the rails.
It is, totally.
No one would ever write that drum part.
Exactly. That was his thing, and no one played like him.
Yeah. I could never come up with something like that. No, that's not a surprise.
Yeah. All chord changes. And this whole thing, the way the orchestra comes in to back him up. This is music that's on a different level. This is like, to me, this is very similar to when the Beatles went into the recording studio and made music, there was a magic that was happening in those sessions. They were capturing a magic. That's what this is. They captured a magic here.
I have it on good authority. This is one of God's Desert Island discs.
I wouldn't doubt it for a second. And the lyric, I mean, not even talking about It's basically Bernie Taupin lamenting the fact that he came from this small village and was this basically a farm boy and got thrown into this whole celebrity world and jet setter kind of culture. He's basically saying, I wish I could go back to the plow. And it's really just a beautiful marriage of lyrics and music. It's just incredible.
I do have a laying in bed memory of listening. It was right after Goodby Yellow Brick Road came out, and I'd just been to visit my cousins in California, and my cousin had it, and so I'd heard it, and then came home, and I was laying in bed one morning, and on the radio they played Goodby Yellow Brick Road, and the disc jockey had superimposed "Follow the Yellow Brick Road, follow the Yellow Brick Road"
over that song?
just over one part of it, like just as much as I just recited, and I thought that was part of the song, and so I'd hear it, and I'd be looking forward to hearing these munchkins say that, and they unfortunately weren't in the actual version. It was just a disc jockey thing, but I remember that actually, that moment when I heard that song laying in bed that morning is what made Elton John click for me. That
even with the Yellow Brick Road,
especially with that moment, because it was like it caught my attention more. And after that, though, I listened to that song because I wanted to hear that part. But as I listened to it, obviously, I fell in love with the song itself. And that was literally the moment I fell in love with that music.
Play it.
1, 2, 3, 4. When are you gonna come down? When are you going to land? I should have stayed on the phone. I should have listened to my old man. You know you can't hold me forever. I didn't sign up with you. I'm not a present for your friends to open. This boy's too young to be singing the blues. Of society, how you can't plant me in your penthouse. I'm going back to my plow, back to the howling old owl in the woods, hunting the honeyback toad. Oh, I found that a side of my future lies beyond the yellow brick road. What do you think you'll do then? I bet they shoot down your plane. It'll take you a couple of vodka and tonics to set you on your feet again. Maybe you'll get a replacement. There's plenty like me to be found. Mongrels who ain't got a penny, sniffing for tidbits like you on the ground. So goodbye, Yellow Brick Road, where the dogs of society howl. You can't plant me in your penthouse. I'm going back to my plow, back to the howling old owl in the woods, hunting the honeyback toad. Oh, I found that a side of my future lies beyond the yellow brick road.
There's a dozen songs I could pick by Elton to show his greatness as a musician and as a songwriter.
Yes.
And same with Bennie and the band.
Yep.
But this is a song I'm going to play. This is kind of what I would call, for most people who are casual listeners to music, this is what I would call a deep track. But it's such a beautiful song. It is so complex musically and emotionally and lyrically. I'm not a drummer. I'm not a rhythm guy. But there's something about the drumming in this song that gets me. It's just focus on that for a second.
Which piques my interest because I keep trying to turn you on to the drummer side of these things.
You have actually. And this is off of Goodby Yellow Brick Road, which is no surprise.
Yeah.
And this song is I've Seen That Movie Too.
Oh my goodness. Wowza.
The setup's amazing.
It is. It's incredible.
I can see by your eyes you must be lying.
Do you notice how the kick drum is hitting on these weird...
I cannot for the life of me discern what the drumming rhythm is.
But you can hear that, right?
It gives me almost this delightful musical angst.
Yes,
because it's not a...
Yes. And Dee Murray is totally locked into every time he hits that kick drum.
It's an amazing song. John, I think through the magic of editing, after about a moment here, we should fast forward to what to me is the sweet spot of the song, which is the guitar solo.
Okay. When you're listening to this track, I'm going to stop when the guitar solo starts, but pay attention to how the drummer is so laid back that it's almost like if he waited 1 millisecond later, he would be off. Amazing. This part. Wow. And the orchestral score is reading from his guitar solo and incorporating those melody lines.
It's brilliant. Again, this song makes my nipples erect, if I may be so frank.
Absolutely.
But it gives me goose flesh every time I hear it.
It is. It's truly a stunning and magical... This part. Oh my goodness.
So that is what this man is capable of. That is what his band is capable of.
Yep.
That is what the lyricist is capable of.
This is Sweet Painted Lady. Once again, this is just drums, bass, piano. This music, the songs he was composing, the chord changes, and the way that these guys rose to the occasion. Whew, amazing. As you're listening to these tracks, anytime you listen to Elton John's records, live, studio, whatever, when you listen to Dee Murray, especially live, every measure of the song. You never know what's going to happen. He never plays the same thing twice. Gus Dudgeon, the producer that produced all those legendary 70s albums, is quoted in the making of Goodby Yellow Brick Road documentary.
This is the Ballad of Danny Bailey, and it really shows off Dee Murray's bass playing, which I think is superb. He's an underrated and superb musician. His sense of melody and his sense of understanding the lyric and the way that the whole thing has to feel was, as far as I'm concerned, faultless. I've never really come across a bass player quite as good as him. So I'm going to leave him in so you can hear a bit of what he's doing on the front, because it's very unusual what he does. So here we go, Danny Bailey.
Some punk with a shotgun killed young Danny Bailey in cold blood in the lobby of a downtown motel.
Now here comes Dee now, listen.
Killed him in anger, a force he couldn't handle. Helped pull the trigger that cut short his life. And there's not many knew him the way that we did. Sure enough, he was a wild one, but then on those hungry kids,
Here's the rhythm section.
now it's all over Danny Bailey, and the harvest is in. Dylan just dead. I guess the cops won again. Now it's all over Danny Bailey, and the harvest is in. We're running short of heroes back up here in the hills. Without Danny Bailey, we're gonna have to break up our stills. So mark his grave well, 'cause Kentucky loved him. Born and raised a proper, I guess life just bugged him, and he found faith in danger, a lifestyle he lived by, a running gun youngster in a sad, restless age. Now it's all over Danny Bailey, and the harvest is in. Dylan just dead. haven't seen your face for a while. Have you quit doing time for me? Or are you still the same spoiled child? Hello, I said hello. Is this the only place you thought to go? Am I the only man you ever had? Or am I just the last surviving friend that you know? Harmony and me, we're pretty good company. Looking for an island in our boat upon the sea. Harmony, gee, I really love you, and I wanna love you forever. And dream of never, never, never leaving harmony. Hello, baby, hello. Open up your heart and let your feelings flow. You're not lucky knowing me, keeping the speed real slow. In any case, I set my own pace by stealing the show. Say hello.